a short follow-up on the Joshua Ngannou match, and I wanted to focus on this video on the aspect of Ngannou. There are a few interesting questions now. Is he completely finished as a boxer, or should he go back to UFC, and how does he go from here? I mean, for a starter, he completely knocked out against Joshua, which will not be helpful in any career that he will do in the future, even outside of combat sport. I mean, he could still fight somebody like Derek Chisora or Dillian White in boxing, which would still be interesting, but against the big guys, it's probably the end for Ngannou. And looking back, I mean, I predicted that Joshua would KO him, which wasn't the hardest thing to predict, but many people pretty much believed in the hype that Ngannou had, pretty much because Tyson Fury was very much overrated. Not that he is not good, but in the literal sense of the word, he was basically rated as the best heavyweight without being undisputed, and in that reason people were shocked that Ngannou would beat or do so well against Tyson Fury and even drop him, which was very shocking, to be honest. But maybe Tyson Fury is finished already, and this just proves that this fight basically could prove that Ngannou isn't really that good of a striker, and the Tyson Fury is on the near the end as well. So this could be very likely. And I think also the mentality of Francis was pretty much wrong from the beginning, because he was going in there overconfident, talking how he's gonna KO Joshua and it's gonna be a much easier fight than the Fury fight and so on. Francis, after the Fury fight, has been really getting a bit too big for his own boots, and he fell basically in love with his own strength and thought it was such an easy fight. He would just touch Joshua and beat him, then sail off into the sunset or something. And even the fans there were many delusional, thinking that this would be for Ngannou, even if he was about to win this, that this was gonna be an easier fight than the Fury fight, because just logically thinking about it, it's just, do you know that Joshua has completely different attributes and strengths than Fury? He's much stronger for one. He has a decent punch to hurt, and as you see, completely knock him out cold, which Fury never had. Fury is like a faded, slick boxer now, and after all this, you really have to ask: was this a good decision by Ngannou's team to leave the UFC at least before the Jon Jones fight? I think Jon Jones should be a beatable opponent for him. Maybe if he would have left the UFC after such a huge fight, things would turned out maybe better for him. Looking at it now, it was already clear at the beginning to many like hardcore boxing fans that if he fights someone decent, he will get chinned. So actually getting the Tyson Fury fight was a great thing to happen for Ngannou. I think they first went for Joshua, and that didn't turn out, and then Tyson Fury ducked Usyk or something, and then they made this kind of a gimmick fight that Tyson Fury should have lost, really, to be honest. He has made a good load of money from this fight now, I think over 10 millions, and he will have had his few sponsors and so on. But still, going back to the UFC is now a questionable thing. I don't know. I mean, they would take him back probably, but would they? I don't know. I'm not a UFC guy, but I think he has a contract now with the PFL, and he will fight there. I mean, if he loses another fight, his fighting career might be over, and the hype is pretty much gone now. And other people fighting him, regardless if it's MMA or boxing, they will have this in mind, that this isn't indestructible guy. You can punch through him, and you will have to think after such a devastating loss, he will certainly have a load of brain damage, and something like this is not good for a fighting career. And I think even if he goes back into MMA, this will have damaged him and his chin incredibly, and we'll see about that. I think the best thing he could do right now is he already is focused on boxing. Even though he lost and got KO'd, there are a few things in the training and in the fight that looked better than in the Fury match. he looked more fluid and so on, and looked more comfortable attacking, but still he is on a novice level, and that's why he got completely destroyed. But there are many improvements he made, even though he lost. But if you think the good way to do it is to give him, I wouldn't advise him to go back into MMA anytime soon. But I think contractually he is. I think he's now focused on boxing for a few years now. So for a year, I think he should stay, maybe have 3 easy fights after he had somewhat of a long recovery, maybe half a year, I don't know. And then really fight somebody like who is completely trash, like 1-10, and beat him up and have 3-4 fights like that. Fight somebody who is still bad, but maybe develop him like another year in boxing, and then maybe try again against someone big, with a big name like Dillian Whyte or so on, and see if he can beat him, because somebody like Dillian Whyte would actually, it could be a good opponent, because I mean Dillian Whyte would have also the power to KO him as well, but is also very vulnerable. So if they prepare him right for that, it's just a guess for me if he decides to do this boxing. After all, I respect the effort that has been put on by Francis Ngannou and coming over to boxing, which was a brave thing to do, and I commend that. I think it would be interesting to see maybe Tyson Fury or Joshua fight him in a cage, maybe in a few years or something. But for now, I'd like to hear from the UFC MMA fans what they thought about it and how they see Francis going forward in the future. If you can, watch the preview video I did on AG Francis. Give me your take in the comments, and I want to thank you for watching. Bye.